Ted just kind of just went on the hunt for just options
Yep.
in aluminum. And so it was like, we need to find aluminum benders. We need to find aluminum manufacturers. And he randomly just kind of came across the idea of extrusion.
Hey, what's up, adventurers? Today we're going to be covering T-Track and all things extruded aluminum. If you like this type of video from us, please let us know by liking the video. Also, if there are any topics in this series that you would like us to discuss, please leave them in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. So today, I want to cover the T-Track.
Ooh, okay.
It's kind of I don't know, it's the foundation of kind of everything we do in our vans. So I know initially we tried everything in the first build.
Yes.
How did we eventually get to T-Track?
So a couple of the original episodes of More Than a Van kind of discuss like the history. Mm-hmm. So I'll just kind of highlight it, but you can go back and watch those. So whenever I started building the first van, it was crafting, right? So so most auto manufacturers, they craft the first idea out of clay, or mud or something like that, and then they mold it, and you're just trying to shape and try to get something together. So I originally built the first one out of wood. I could go to the hardware store, I could get what I needed, I could screw stuff together, I could take them apart, like all those things. But we even knew when I built the first one out of wood, like that would not be the thing that stayed. And so, but it helped kind of draft and kind of model what we were going to run after. So we went down that route, and then, I wanted to start adding in like the hydraulics for the bed, and I wanted to start adding in some other factors. Well, so whenever adding in those other factors, there's all these other parameters that start coming into play. It's this, that, the other. It's all these different things. Well, as we go through these different things, I built a full kit out of steel, so I could weld everything together because I wanted the strength. I wanted to remove wood with screws, so I went kind of to the other extreme, which was welding. Steel's very heavy. Whenever you start welding stuff together, it's time. It's money is time. And so, went from the evolution of wood, kind of went to the extreme of strength for steel, and then started flirting with, well, we really need to reduce weight. We really need to increase flexibility. And so it's like, look, we know we need to go after aluminum. And, welding aluminum is difficult. It's not the easiest thing to weld. You got to have, skilled welders to do it, and consistency and volume and all these factors that I would say were kind of in the back of my mind when designing, but not necessarily at the forefront of production line efficiency and quality. And so as we kept kind of toying through these different things, actually Ted Vandevort, who he's a part of our team now as a assistant in sales.
And he's been part of the company for 20, 30 years.
I think he's at 33.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's at 33 years. And so, so Ted was in the very beginning days of kind of like the small team we started as to resources I could utilize. And Ted just kind of just went on the hunt for just options in aluminum. And so it was like, we need to find aluminum benders. We need to find aluminum manufacturers. And he randomly just kind of came across the idea of extrusion. You'd have to ask him how he actually felt upon it.
I'll get him on one of these one day.
Yeah, but I think he was just Googling. I think he was just trying to figure out, like, I think he just started down the kind of the rabbit hole of, I want to build something that I can assemble. I think I want to build XYZ. Well, then he came across the idea of aluminum extrusion. And, when we first looked at it, it's like, that makes sense. But how much can it make sense? Because what we really liked about it was it's an adult erector set. I mean,
like
it's
Legos.
Exactly. I think of Sandlot, and I think of the catapult. That's what I'm thinking. And so, whenever we started really diving into it, I started kind of getting giddy because, I started thinking of, okay, well, we can like do hardware, we can put stuff in the track, and but still didn't really know. Well, the company we went with, you know, they came out, they did a demo with us, and they were showing us. They basically pulled this cart out of the back of a van, and the cart itself was built out of extrusion, and they had all these connectors, and they had all these things. And Ted can tell you, Brent can tell you, John Allen, everyone who was there can tell you. I just got very excited. Yeah. So for the next 30 minutes, they're all like cracking jokes at me because I am so pumped about like, oh gosh, like I could make something move with this and linear bearings and hardware. And I got very excited and said, I think this is what we could use to not have to, kind of at that point it was, I don't want to have to worry about, at that time, skilled craftsmen needing to perfectly weld, perfectly cut. Like, I wanted to be able to remove that concern from the process as we built product. I just didn't want it as a HR hiring concern at that time. And so whenever we started looking at the extrusion, well, then I started asking questions and started realizing, oh, we can machine it. And then it was just light bulb, which is, we don't have to bracket this stuff together. We can just bolt this stuff together. And that was it. I think that was whenever I was said, we're building everything out of it. And it was funny because I remember even Brent was like, well, you know, like gear slide, like, you know, it makes sense for gear slide, but and it's versatile there, but you really want to replace like the side boxes? And I was just like, yes. I was like, I want it to be all our framing. And I remember Ted even being kind of like, wow, like you really want to like use this stuff. And because it kind of went against everything we'd already built, everything we'd already designed. We had to think of the new way of doing it. Do we want inset panels? Do we want to do different series? And so I just got very, very hungry after the concept of, we have to integrate this as the foundation of the build, or it's just an accessory. And I basically, pretty much everything we'd done up to that point, we kept the concepts, but I threw everything out. All drawing, I threw it all out the window and said, you know, because before when you morph something out of wood, you can take MDF, back cut it, and you can bend MDF into like a curve. Extrusion, which we have bent extrusion, we have curved it. We know how to curve extrusion, but it's like, well, now everything has to be squared off. A transit van, for everyone listening or watching, if you don't know, a transit van is not square. And so that just became a huge tackle for us. Big. I mean, it became the all of all. And that was the struggle, I guess I could say, is knowing that we're locked into this product that's straight, square, can't bend, can't go around corners, all those aspects. And we're just locked. We are locked into only certain concepts of building, but I knew that was what we had to do. Because if we were ever going to become volume, we were ever going to become quality that we wanted, if we were going to do those things, I mean, it had to be something that was assembled. Or that / I took the approach of, we only make this work if it's assembled. And at that point, I mean, just knowing that we were able to get a bar that can be machined the same way every time, set locations, specific kit building, speed. I mean, and to be for the record, I mean, we still to this day pay for speed. The way we build is not cheap. The way we build is not the cheapest way. I'll say right now, you can build a van cheaper than we build one by building it with wood. 100%.
Definitely,
We care about longevity, quality. We care about a lot of other aspects, and versatility. And that's where the T-slot aspect, the hardware, the connectability, you lock something in. We saw, you know, myself, Brent, Ted, we all saw the value of that instantly when Ted brought the idea up.
That's one thing I was going to ask is, like, was modularity a thought before the T-Track, or did it come after you saw the truck bed and you're like, oh my gosh, look at all these possibilities?
It was of thought before, and the reason why modularity, I think, and I do think I hit it in another episode, is modularity was a part of our roots from the beginning because we wanted the ability of taking the factory Ford seats in and out.
Yeah.
And I will just say, Brent's his whole life, he's always been about versatility. It's like, if you go on a hike, take 2 different pairs of shoes in case you end up wanting to do something else while you're out. Like, don't handcuff yourself to just one thought and theory.
Yeah.
If you're going out for the day. With the van, when we started with the passenger van, we kind of got forced into modularity mainly because of the Ford factory removable seats.
Yeah.
That let me say this. I'm not going to say that we would not have, if we didn't start with the Ford passenger van, I'm not going to say our thoughts on modularity would be a whole lot different today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we would have, though, put it as like our top priority.
Yeah.
If we would have built differently.
Yeah.
The seats did force us because, seats lock in and out. They take up that space. Well, then the kitchen that goes in the area has to go. Like, it has to come in and out.
Yeah.
Well, we were forced with an equation to solve, and modularity was the only fix.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, yes. Yeah, sure.
It was there partially, but like the unlimitedness wasn't there.
There you go. Yeah, and so, and I think that came very quickly with T-Track.
Yeah.
T-Track showed us, it's like, okay, we can do this. Again, for me, my brain was like, okay, cool, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah.
What made me realize extrusion is our foundation was the machining, the connections, the ability to quality check and copy repeat build.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
And so,
I was able to put some of that stuff together.
Yeah,
so it's got to be pretty easy.
Yeah. So, it's, the machining, I'll say, I've machined a lot of stuff in my life. If you think you know how to machine extrusion and you haven't ever done it, bite your tongue a little before you do it. Yeah. It's not easy.
No, I had the kits given to me.
Yeah. You got given the bolts, you got given the kit. So, but no, I kind of got to give kudos to Ted. Ted's the one who kind of laid out in front of me. He kind of laid out in front of me like, hey, don't know how this would work. And it was just funny because when we look back, Ted was presenting it as, hey, I think we could use this for some of our stuff. Yeah. And then I see it, I'm like, no, we're going to use it for all of our output. Yeah. And it was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So, that was the evolution of, how we got to, it went from wood to steel and welding to the welding concept makes sense for how strong we wanted to build our product. Yeah. But we knew we had to switch to aluminum. But that brought a whole nother layer of cost, expense, a whole nother layer of a different facet. And then that put us on the hunt for aluminum. Yeah. And then we landed on T-Slot.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things seeing on like our owners Facebook group and like other videos and stuff that we've done is the innovations that our owners have done. Yeah. Since they've gotten their van, like boxes that they've built to mount a microwave or cabinets that they built themselves that they mount in there. So yeah, it's just like you can DIY like crazy on top of this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it helps give the person looking to want, we produce a van to 100%. Yeah. Question is what do you classify as 100%? Yeah. People can get the van, never worry about anything. Don't touch the thing, take it as is. But we have some people who take a complete van to most, and then they do touches. They build their own things, and it is cool. Like, it is really cool. Yeah. I love seeing when services come in. I just love seeing what people have done.
Yeah, we just had a couple come in this week that they had like bike water bottle holders mounted up in the T-Track where they put like spray bottles, their dog water, like things like that. Magnetic strips that they put so they can hang tools and things. It's just like if you like figure out how to use the space, you can do so many crazy things that help you like enjoy your van a lot more.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to like the owners group because that's maybe the part I enjoy most days is because I get to see them building a community of helping one another.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I just love that we get to partake in that.
Yeah.
Like we get an opportunity to help with that, and so it's fun. Like it really does make it fun. So
yeah, there's so many like questions you see asked in that group where they maybe have submitted a ticket, but it got answered in the group in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, here's how I fix my S-bar issue. It's like,
yeah, I mean, that group is a lot of people's lives. You know, it's a way out. It's a way out of their daily. It's the community aspect of all that. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to kind of like wrap this up. It's kind of fun to know that a community was built really because of we built a product that allows them to take ownership of it.
Yeah.
And do their touches. So
yeah.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely. So. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it, man.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah.